Get higher fast, they say it's the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications set like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope, so you can do work that matters and earn what you and your family deserve. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you are here on this Tuesday in February, just want to acknowledge you for being here. Know that there's probably a lot of other places you could be and a lot of things you could be doing, and you're choosing to be here, which just tells me that you're somebody who takes your career really seriously. And I like talking to people like that. And if you're not here live, if you're just watching the replay, that's also very cool. You're not quite as cool as the people who are here live, but you're also pretty cool. If you would put in the chat where you're from, I see you there, Martha and Henry, put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. Because I want to know, folks. I'd like to get a sense of who's here. Because look, folks, sometimes, so where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. Because my friends, sometimes, being on a long job search can feel a lot like pounding sand, right? I see you there, Jennifer in Long Island and Oscar in Houston. Nice to have you. 1 week for you, Henry. If it can feel like waiting on a glacier, Liz. I see you there, Liz in Raleigh and Brittany in Sacramento. I see you there, Amber and Latoya and Doug. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Cooper. Hi, Aaliyah. Hi, Aaron in Atlanta. Sometimes it can feel a lot like wandering in the desert, Jen. Hi there, Tanya. Hi there, Jan in San Diego, Robert in Plano, Texas, and Dorothy in Brew City. Sometimes it can feel like going into an arena, Richard, Washington Coast. Sometimes it can feel like looking into an abyss. So who is this workshop for? If you are unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, if you're uncertain if your resume is any good, if you've been wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, hey there, Alicia in Houston. If you're tired of applying, Trisha in Brooklyn and hearing nothing back, hey there, that's right, we got some people in Parker. Hey there, Megan, north of Boston. If you're doing interviews that seem to go great and you still get a big fat no, if you're trapped in a job you don't like and you're not sure how you can escape, and most of all, if you're losing hope, my friends, this is a workshop for you. Hey there, Alicia, I see you, 6 months. On the other hand, if you're super casual about your career, you're just not willing to do a lot of work, if you're reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, if you're really just interested in finding a job to make money, hey there, Dean in Milwaukee. If you're stuck in your ways and sort of closed-minded about trying new things and you know all the reasons you haven't been getting hired, if you're unwilling to be authentic, this probably isn't the workshop for you. So what you're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to give you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work right away so you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. So our agenda for today, some of you guys have signed up for this workshop because you've had friends or family that have suggested that you show up because they've been in our program and they've got really hired fast, and you may already know a lot about me. And some of you don't. You're like, I just got this message on LinkedIn. I don't know who this weird guy is. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. Again, 4 strategies, 9 tactics. Hey there, Doru Khan in San Francisco. Nice to meet you. Guys, trigger warning. I do have a program. Clients pay me real American dollars to help them get hired fast. I'm going to tell you about it during this presentation. And if you don't want to hear that, you don't have to stay. It's okay. So I'm willing to offend in the name of service, which is something we're going to talk about during this presentation. But anyhow, if you already know that you're joining this workshop because we ask people to attend this workshop before they book a call with us. Guys, I am taking coaching calls for the people who are on this workshop. I'm going to do them all personally this week. So if you would like to book a coaching session with me, I only ask 3 things. 1, you're not going to book and show up. I'm just one guy. I have a real schedule. I have a lot of clients I'm serving. So if you intend to book a call and not make it a priority, please do not book a call. 2, you're at least open the idea of getting some help, right? Open the idea of getting some coaching, maybe investing in yourself. And 3, you're ready to get started. If that's you, go ahead and book a call, and we'll talk more about that a little later. That's how you book a call. We have Jessa and Chris helping us today. Thanks, Jessa and Chris. You guys are great. And that's how you book a call. And that's the link right there. So, and then we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A. I actually have some at the top of the hour, so we're going to go real quick. So if you have questions, put them in the chat and we'll get to as many of them as we can. All right, who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, look, folks, I have no idea if I can help you find a job. I've helped a ton of people, and part of the reason we're asking you to book a call is like, let's find out if we can help you. Just a little bit about me. I grew up overseas. I didn't come to the States till I was about 18. I grew up in Asia. I came to the States. I transferred college 7 times, right? Which here I am in the Midwest looking like wondering why it's so damn cold. I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. Spent about 10,000 hours underwater. And after that was all done, I was like, well, I got to get my career together. Like I didn't really have a lot, in terms of career. I was really struggling with what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I thought, well, what would be the most prestigious job in the world? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of notebook paper and I hand wrote a letter to the President of the United States. And I said, dear Mr. President, you should hire me. Worst cover letter ever written. I mailed that thing to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I'm like, I'm never hearing back about that thing. But that got me thinking, and I applied to some, I was got me thinking. And about a month later, I was riding my bike past the Guam post office, and the guy came out and he said, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. I was like, wow, I'd never seen a White House envelope before. So I opened it up and it was an internship application. Now I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I'd transferred college so many times. So I filled that out, sent it in, and I'm like, I'm never hearing back about that thing. And again, I got thinking, I was sort of wrestling. I applied to some grad schools. I got into GW here in Washington, D.C., and I sort of landed with this big bushy haircut, was dumpster diving for furniture, bought a pair of running shoes, was out running past the White House one day. I thought, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What is up with that? So I found a payphone. I put in a quarter. I called them up. I said, hey, you bastards, what about that White House internship thing? They're like, is this Eric from Guam? I'm like, yeah, it is, but I'm in DC now. They're like, man, you're supposed to start in the First Lady's office on Monday. We've been trying to get in touch with you. So I thought, that's interesting. So I bought a suit and I showed up. Now, look, folks, I don't know if your politics match mine. I guess forgive me if they don't, but this is going to tell you how old I am. This was back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. So I wound up interning in her office, eventually got hired on her staff. Right, was with her for a lot of the Clinton administration. That was pretty awesome. Followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we did a bunch of cool stuff for the great state of New York. Then followed her to the U.S. State Department, where I did a bunch of stuff with the UN agency UNESCO, right? And then eventually I left Hillary Land and I became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And all during this time, seeing people at all different levels of their career, all different industries, all different places, I would see the same movie. Oh, thanks, Henry. The same movie over and over again, where people were trying to unleash their gifts upon the world to help a world in need. And this system we call job searching, which isn't very linear, logical, or fair, holds them up. And so now I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of coaching. I've written a ton of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper. I have glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably, maybe. It helped a lot of people. Let's find out if we can get you sorted out today. So I have a question for you. 4 strategies for you to get hired fast. Here's my first question. You can put the answer in the chat. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Right? A lot of times people don't get this one right. Let's see if anybody gets it right today. What's a good resume about? Kirk says, what's a good resume about? What do you think it is? Put it in the chat. Let's see if anybody gets this right. What's a good resume about? So Oscar says you. I see there, Oscar. Yep. What's a good resume about? Number says Liz. Okay. What I can do for you. Cooper says business outcomes. What you have accomplished and what you can bring to the job. Right. Megan says your skills and experience. Right. Amber says my story. Robert says, hold on here. We're going pretty fast. There's so many things. Connects with the hiring company's needs. All right, Robert, we're coming back to you. Adriana says impact. Donna says professional transparency. Aaron says ATS. Jennifer says accomplishments. Robert's relevant to the job position. Doug says results, telling my story. Guys, I haven't really seen the right answer yet. And I think the closest we've seen is actually Robert Choate. So let's give this to Robert Choate. Good job, Robert. Robert, you're right. A lot of you are saying so Robert, we're going to give you this free course. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. We're going to give that to you, Robert Choate, because a lot of you are saying a good resume is about you. And as Robert suggested, nah, good resume is not you. Good resume is about them. My friends, if you want to be influential with another person or organization, what's the first thing you're going to talk about? It's not you, it's them, right? And you can use this everywhere. A good resume isn't about you, it's about them. So look, folks, this brings us to strategy number 1. It's not about you, it's about them. If you get nothing else out of this workshop today, please hear me when I say this. Make it about them, right? And I can't tell you how many job seekers I run into. They're like, it's me, 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 me. Let me tell you about my skills and experience. Let me sell myself. Now, some of you were pretty close. You're saying, well, it's how I can help the company. Nah, it's not how you can help the company. It's just how the company can be helped. It's what's possible for that organization. It sounds like a real subtle distinction, and it's really important because employers are focused on themselves, right? So if you go in there and you're focused on yourself, hey, Maureen. Wow, Maureen's an early bird. Maureen just booked a coaching call. Nice job, Maureen. Let's make sure we send Maureen that. Well, actually, Maureen, when you show up for the call, I'll make sure we get you squared away with that LinkedIn course when I see you, because I look forward to meeting you, Maureen. Good job. Employers are focused on themselves. So if we go in there talking about ourselves, it's like an issue of thought polarity, right? It doesn't work. So make the application about them. And when I say the application, I'm talking your resume, your cover letter, the follow-up, the networking, right? All of it. You want to make it about them. All right, guys, lots more to come. Look, folks, and it's no wonder we very often think that searching for a job and a resume is about us, because very likely the first resume we ever did was coming out of school. And in school, it is about us. It's our cubby. It's our worksheet. It's our desk, right? It's our trophy. It's our diploma. And yet when we move to the working world, it's about the customer, the constituent, the client. Those of you who are seasoned professionals already know this. You just haven't thought about it. Make it about them. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If we went to a library and I saw a shelf full of storybooks and I looked at the front cover of those storybooks, there'd be some words. What do we call those words in English? What do we call those words in English? Hey there, Darcel. Nice to meet you. What do we call those words on the front cover of a storybook? I bet you know. Let's see who gets it first. Alicia Waiters. Alicia, we're going to send you this free course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome, right? Because you were the first one out of the gate. And I see the rest of you. Don't worry. We've got more questions. Robert and Sherry and Amber and Gary and Dorothy and Jonathan and Mo and Darcel, right? I see you all. Yeah, it's title. That's what we put on the front cover of a storybook. Now, isn't it interesting? That's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, which tells me that stories are really important. Let me ask you a question. I got another one for you. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What percent is emotional and what percent's logical? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. Sometimes people do. What percent of human decision-making? So Robert says 80-20. Okay, let's see here. Cooper says 70-30. Gary says 80. Brian says 80. Nope, nobody's got it right yet. Henry says 80. Doug says 60. Aaliyah says 60, right? Robert says 40-60. Nope. Alicia says 80-20. Talent says 70-30. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Cyril says 80-20. I'll give you guys a few more seconds. Oh, Rico Aponte. Rico, we're going to hook you up with that LinkedIn course because you got it right. It's 100% emotional. And Sherry, you were right behind them. I see you. It's 100% emotional. And this is why stories are so important, because stories are how we convey emotion. Decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know this is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, okay, they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's the debilitating part. Hey, Jade, you booked a call. Nice job, Jade. Look forward to meeting you, my friend. Got all kinds of good stuff for coming your way. Okay, so the initial decision, when we make decisions, it's 100% emotional. When you guys joined this call, you very quickly decided whether you liked my face, the music, right? Just all of it. And now you're just collecting data to rationalize the emotional decision that you have already made. It's 100% emotional. So those who are out there, those people are out there saying we make data-driven decisions. No, they don't. Nobody does, right? So it's fine to have facts in your resume. And the reason that stories are so important is stories is how we convey emotion, right? Our ability to process like emotion is like 40 million bits a second. Our ability to process data is like 40 40,000 bits a second. It's orders of magnitude greater. So that's why story is so important. Hey, Steve, really look forward to meeting you, man. Good job, Steve. You booked a call. Nice job. We're going to take care of you, Steve. So you're going to want to make your applications a story, right? And put it in your resume, your cover letter, your follow-up. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about AI. That's interesting, Henry. I see you there. Okay. It's about story. So let me tell you a story. One time I was taking applications for a program, and they were all pretty much the same, except for this woman, Maggie, who wrote in and described how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Oh, that's no good. Poor Maggie. So we accepted Maggie to the program, right? I'm getting ready for the first day. I'm waiting for one-armed Maggie to show up, thinking what accommodations she might need. Maggie shows up. 2 arms. Now, it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and she was doing some physical therapy. Maggie was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had both her arms? Of course not. I was so happy she had both her arms. And I remember how I felt in that moment to this day. That's the power of story. So if you're not incorporating a lot of story in your stuff, you're really leaving a lot on the table. All right, guys. Hey, Liz B, you booked a call. We look forward to meeting you, Liz. Good job, Liz. And guys, I know my calendar is going to fill up. So if you're interested in booking a call, do not wait. Hey, Alyssa, you booked a call too. Nice job. Like, don't wait, because I don't have that much time on my schedule in the next couple of days. So it is going to fill up. So if you can snag a spot with me, you're going to want to do that, especially if you're interested in taking action. All right, guys, here's a question for you. Who's this guy? What's this guy called? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this guy's name? Who knows in the chat? Let's see if anybody knows what this guy's name is. Yeah, he's a friend to the llama. He likes ligers. What's this guy called? Oh, Aaliyah. And I see Cooper. Yeah. All right. So Aaliyah, you know what? It looks like Aaliyah and Cooper, you guys were tied. We're going to send this free LinkedIn course to you. This is Napoleon Dynamite. That's right. Now, and I see you, Sherry Robert. You were right behind Cooper and Aaliyah. Hopefully I'm not messing up your name too much there, right? This is Napoleon Dynamite. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this fine piece of cinema, I mean, folks, come on, we're trying to create a society here. Stop your job search and go take a break and watch this fine film. And yeah, you're on a lag, Jennifer. That's okay, Jennifer. You'll see this in a minute, Jennifer. We see you, Jennifer. It's okay. So Napoleon Dynamite's a high school kid. He sort of beats to his own drum. And in this particular scene, he's on stage and he's in front of his entire student body, and he's going to he's got to do some kind of performance. And he a performance for which he has not prepared. Hey, Scott, nice to meet you, Scott. I look forward to talking to you. Right. And so the music starts to play. And what does Napoleon do? He just starts to do this wildest damn performance you've ever seen. I mean, this thing is like, he metaphorically opens the kimono, and all of his classmates are kind of like, what's going on? And when he's done, he's sort of panting and sweaty, and everybody's sort of not sure what to do. And then they burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic, right? As weird as Napoleon is, he's really authentic, and it makes people love him, right? Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully, and she's right. And this brings us to strategy number 3, which is authenticity. I think it was Henry that asked earlier, like, what about ATS? Let me ask you something, folks. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you, it's humans. Humans hire humans. Robots don't hire humans, and humans don't hire robots, and robots don't hire robots, at least not yet. And I get that there's a lot out there about you have to have an ATS friendly resume. You got to worry about the ATS, the algorithm. Well, how's that working out for you? I already know. My invitation to you is take all the time and energy. You might be chasing your tail to try and please some algorithm that we don't even know what it is. And every company has a different system. And by the way, AI is getting pretty good now. The idea that we're going to somehow trick it or game the system probably isn't great. Take all that time and energy, instead invest it in human connection. That's how my clients get hired real fast. The good news is, in an increasingly automated world, most people are out there chasing their tail trying to please AI. So the opportunity is for you to do the opposite. Nothing against AI. I think it's really cool. And when it comes to job searching, it's not your friend. And the reason you're not getting interviews is not because you're not pleasing the computer enough. It's because you're working to please the computer at all, and you're not focusing on human stuff. I could be wrong, but a lot of my people get hired real damn fast. Hey, Eman, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, man. Look forward to, yeah, my guys, I know I can feel my schedule filling up. Like a lot of people are booking calls. So if you want to talk to me, don't wait. So many are trying to be perfect, but here's the thing. Humans hire humans. The opportunities to be human, be relatable. For example, one time I was talking to Nina and we were going over her stuff. And I said, Nina, what do you like to do for fun? And Nina was like, well, I have a pen collection. And I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. Like, we got to put that on there. And she's like, no, I couldn't do that. That would be too silly. And so I argued with her and I was like, okay. She went into the interview about a month later. They talked about pens for 30 minutes and then she got the job. This happens with my clients all the time. I had a client last year that put, hey, Marty K, you booked a call. Nice job, Marty K. I look forward to meeting you, right? Like I had a client last year on her resume. She put 2 truths and a lie. 2 truths and a lie. She got 2 interviews and 2 offers just because of that. And the reason we know it is they told her. So yeah, like you can do the same. Be more human, not less human. Humans hire humans. Authenticity is your superpower. All right, guys, let's talk about Abe Lincoln here. He said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. This brings us to the idea of systems. Systems. The results you're currently getting in your job search right now are perfectly attuned to your current system. And some of you are like, well, Eric, I don't have a system. That's my problem. Yeah, you do. Some of you have a system called, oh, it's the economy. Some of you have a system called, well, I'm going to hide my age because some 20-something recruiter told me that was the thing to do. Or some of you have a system called, it's the ATS. Some of you have a system called, I'm going to put the title of the job that I'm applying to on my resume because that'll somehow Jedi mind trick them. And they'll think, oh, his title on his resume matches this job we're hiring for. That person must be a good candidate. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, why do people even do that? Some people have a system called, I have an executive summary at the top of my resume. What is that? What is an executive summary? Like, who's the executive? I have no idea. Hey, Chris B, you booked a call. Look forward to meeting you. Right? So a lot of you have a lot of systems. And this isn't about whether your system is good or bad. It's just whether it's working, right? So for a lot of you, here's your current system. And I got to hand it to you. You got the bell and the sticky gear shift. And I mean, you've just been working your heart out using it. You've tried every iteration possible. Here's what you're going to want to know. This is the system that's available. Now you can spend a lot of time figuring out how to go from this system to this system. Or you can make an investment in yourself and like book a call with me and we could talk about this and we can just get this handled, right? Because I don't know exactly what the right setting is for you, but probably helped a lot of people that are very similar to you and we know what setting worked for them. This is the opportunity. You don't want to spend a lot of time going from this to that or spend a lot of money doing that. That is not great. So how do you put this all to work, my friends? Like I mentioned, I've got to pray. Dumitru. Hi, Dumitru. Nice to meet you. Look forward to seeing you, right? I've got a program. It's called Get Hired Fast. We just get all this stuff handled, right? It comes with a lot of one-on-one coaching with me, comes with a lot of group stuff. You think this workshop's good? Wait till you see the paid thing. We're just scratching the surface here. And it's awesome. It's awesome. And I've got like about 10 million testimonials. I want to show you one from, hey, Darcel, we look forward to talking to you, man. Nice job. Look forward to talking to you, Darcel. And a lot of you guys are booking calls and I can feel my schedule filling up. Like hopefully we don't run out of slots. Yeah, if you're interested in like talking to me about this program, book a call. A lot of people already have. Only requirement is you're not going to book a call and then cancel because that just keeps somebody else from booking once we fill up. And 2, you're ready to get started. And 3, you're at least open to the idea of making an investment in yourself. If that's you, let's talk. Anyhow, I'm going to show you a short video from a woman named Angel. Angel came to this call. And she booked a call. She decided to sign up for a program. She got great results. And then I've got a lot more content for you. So guys, let's show them Angel first and I'll take a drink. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days. So I was able to do it. Yay.
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it. You did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly. I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
you.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Yeah, good job, Angel. I could watch that all day. Way to go, Angel. All right, guys. So again, if you're wondering what all these people booking calls are, like Shannon M just booked a call. Look forward to meeting you, Shannon. Yeah, if you want to book a call, my only requirement, I'm just begging you, please don't book a call and like chicken out. Professionals don't do that. Yeah, and if you're a professional, you're going to book a call and take a stand for yourself. That's the link right there. All right, guys, 9 tactics to help you get hired fast. Here we go. So if you've been watching this on the replay, this is when I like to talk real fast because you probably have me on 2x speed and it's really annoying. Hi, Noreen, you booked a call. Sorry, I do that because the people who have me on 2x speed, it freaks them out. Look forward to meeting you, Noreen. All right, guys, here's the metaphor. Let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, so there's a lake, in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Surrounding that person are other people in little boats. Okay, so people in little boats surrounding somebody that's drowning. If metaphorically that was a job search, who's the person drowning in this situation? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Who's the person drowning? Let's see if anybody gets this right. So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Let's see if anybody gets this right. So Doug says middle. So Jen says me. Okay. Jen feels like she's drowning. Let's see who else we got. Any other takers? Latoya says me. Amber says me. Sherry says it's the HR professional. You know what? We're going to give it to Sherry. Good job, Sherry. Good job, Sherry. That's right, right? A lot of you are saying, it's me. I'm the one drowning. It feels like I'm drowning. And now some of you, I see you, Latoya and Jonathan and others, right? They're saying, no, it's the employer. And you're right. You're not drowning in this job search, my friends. It may feel like you are, and you're not, right? Because how could you be? You're on some kind of electronics somewhere watching me. Hey, Paulo, we look forward to meeting you, buddy. Good job, Paulo. Look forward to meeting you, right? You're not the one drowning. This brings us to mindset. A lot of people are going through their job search saying, oh, I hope they pick me. Pick me. I'm the best one. And that would be like rowing up to them in the boat and saying, oh, pick my boat. And the person in the water's like, well, I want to get out of this water, but not that guy. That guy's creepy. Why is that? Hey, Jennifer, we look forward to talking to you. Good job, Jennifer. And guys, if you would let me know if slots run out, and I'll give you our email address, and that way you can email us and we'll find a time for you. So like, if you try to book a call and you can't, let me know, because I feel like that's about to happen soon. Yeah, you're not the one drowning. I promise you. The employer's drowning. And the reason we know they're drowning is they've told us, they put out a job description, say, help, we're drowning in work. You're the one in the boat. Realize that they would be lucky to have you. Hey, Robert, good job, man. Good job booking a call. Look forward to meeting you, right? People don't want to be sold. They want to be served. Okay. So you're not going to want to progress in your job search from a place of, I hope they pick me. The minute we say I'm the best for you, we rob those people of having the opportunity for them to have that thought on their own. You're not going to want to do any of that. Okay. So mindset, come from a place of service. All right, guys, tactic number 2. Some of you know the show Deadliest Catch, right? Alaskan fishermen, right? They, yeah. So Dimitri, interesting question. I think the person who's in the water is drowning because he's the one looking for the job to be able to provide and cover the needs. Yeah. The job seeker's not drowning, Dimitri. It's just not. Like, and again, this is just a mindset thing. But some of you know the show Deadliest Catch, right? Alaskan fishermen. They, the guy in the picture is not in the boat. He's in the water. Yeah, that's because that's the job seeker. Hey, Roland, look forward to talking to you. Good job, Roland. So Alaskan fishermen, they put these big steel cages on the bottom of the ocean floor trying to catch some crab. Some of you have seen this in the show Deadliest Catch. So sure enough, some crab come along. Charlie the crab, he comes along. He says, I'm Charlie the crab. There's some free lunch. And so he goes into the cage. Now, some of you would think that Charlie the crab, that's his voice because he's a crab. And you'd be wrong. That's just Charlie's natural voice. Isn't that weird? So Charlie's in there. And meanwhile, more and more crabs start joining. Sally and Cheryl and more and start joining. And eventually the bait is gone. And all the meanwhile, more and more crabs are continuing to join. Now, here's the interesting thing. Anytime any of the crabs tries to leave, the other crabs will pull that crab back in because crabs like to be with other crabs. That's how crabs roll, right? They'll even, if somebody tries to leave, they'll pull off a crab arm. Charlie tries to crawl out, they'll pull off a crab arm. They'll even do a crab murder on poor Charlie, right? And of course, the sad thing is they all get pulled up to become dinner. And this brings us to tactic number 2, which is environment. right? Some of you are like, oh, the reason I'm not getting a job is because I'm lazy or I don't know people. Hey, Jessica, you booked a call. Good job, Jessica. We look forward to meeting you, right? No, it's not that you're lazy. It's one, you don't have a system, and part of your system is the environment that you're in. And when I say environment, I'm talking about your physical environment, your social environment, right? Your psychological, spiritual, all of those things, right? And some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups, right? Where the average weight, income, education of the 5 people we hang out with most. So if you're hanging out with people that are dragging you down, you're just going to be like poor Charlie, right? Trying to leave the cage. And sometimes our environment is a family environment, and there's people that are in our world that love us, and they're like, ooh, just settle. We can't stand to see you get hurt with another rejection. And it comes from a place of love, and it's not particularly helpful. A lot of times when people join my program, they get hired fast just because we work on their environment. It's one of the easiest and fastest things to change. All right, guys, next tactic. Yeah, that's right, Dimitri. That's right. So it's hard to hit a blurry target, guys. This brings us to the idea of vision. Right? Sometimes I'll talk to job seekers, right? I'll say, hey, Gomer, how much money do you want to make? And Gomer will say, well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. I'm like, beautiful. I'm like, that's beautiful, Gomer. I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I want to help people. And I'm like, that's really, really vague, Gomer, right? You may be familiar with the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I would say where there is no vision, job seekers don't get hired, right? Because if we don't have clarity around what the world needs, how will we get hired? You're going to want to have clarity around what the world needs and what's possible for the employers that you're applying to. If you can get clarity on that, John F., look forward to meeting you, John. Good job. Make sure you show up for that call, John. Let's get that job thing handled, right? You're going to want to have clarity around this. When race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle, they're really careful not to look at the outer wall because the car will tend to go where they look. And so if you don't have clarity around what the world needs, you're going to be just like one of those race car drivers driving 500 miles in a circle. You don't want to be that person. Specificity is vital. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If I went to the hardware store and I bought this thing, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat if you would, please. What would I be buying? If I went to the hardware store and I bought this thing, what would I be buying? What do you think? Let's see if anybody gets this right. What would I be buying? So Cooper says a drill. Doug says a screwdriver, right? Darcel says a drill. Nope, nope, nope. Dimitri says electric drill. Nope. Tricia says a driver. Nope, nope, nope. Nobody's got it right yet. Jonathan says a tool. Shannon says a hand drill. Nope, nope, nope. So here's the thing, guys. What I'm actually buying is a hole. That's what I actually want. I'm buying a hole. And actually, I don't even want a hole. What I want is a place to put the hook. And actually, I don't even want the hook coming out of my wall. That sounds dangerous. I'll gash my arm open like poor Maggie, right? That sounds dangerous. What I want is a place to hang the photo. And actually, I don't even want that. What I want is the feeling that I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole, that's made by the drill. And that brings us to the idea of giving them safety. A lot of job seekers are out there just talking about themselves. Let me tell you about myself. Let me tell you about my skills and experience and me, and Leslie, and you booked a call. I look forward to meeting you, Leslie. Good job. All right. Coaching call for Leslie. Let's get your stuff handled, right? A lot of people are just focused on themselves, and that's a disaster. Now, other people, sometimes people that took this workshop 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm starting to hear from them now, right? They're focused on the drill instead of the thing that keeps that employer up at night when they're laying in bed trying to go to sleep. If you can get to that black swan, if you can get to that, it changes everything. You don't have to worry about the 300 fake people that LinkedIn's telling you has already applied to that job you see. You don't have to worry about it, right? If you can make them feel seen, heard, and understood, you're just going to get hired so fast, it's going to be a problem, right? Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than ATS and working to hide your age and like putting an executive summary at the top of your resume, all that stuff that all those people have been telling you to do that doesn't work? Do you see how this is different? This is how we get hired fast. There's only one reason, my friends, that they're going to hire you. And it's not your skills. It's not your experience. Hey, Lourdes, look forward to meeting you, Lourdes, right? There's only one reason they're going to hire you. And it's not whether they even like you. It's, do they trust you? That's how you're going to get hired fast. So let's talk about the next tactic here. Let's talk about resumes. Resumes and paper, it's sort of the least good way we've come up with so far to do this. And you're going to want to make your resume the most Lourdes resume that's ever been, the most Dimitri resume that's ever been, the most, Jennifer resume that's ever been, right? The most Robert, the most Amber resume that's ever been, right? You're not going to want to use best practices because that's a form of professional camouflage. We already mentioned how a good resume is not about us, it's about them, right? And you're going to want to realize that the way you communicate, how you communicate, when you communicate, it all matters. Sometimes it matters more than actually what you say. So you're going to want to communicate with employers in a way they cannot ignore, right? For instance, I have hyperlinks in my resume. Do you have hyperlinks in yours? Why wouldn't you put hyperlinks in yours? There's a good chance they're going to be reading this on a screen. Make your resume four-dimensional. They're going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If an application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest that it doesn't, which brings us to the idea of follow-up. Some of you apply for jobs and you're like, well, hope I hear back on that one. And for some reason, you get that weird accent. Isn't that strange? Right? Next, right? You might even say at the top of your resume, well, I take initiative and I take risks, right? You're going to want to follow up. You're going to want to follow up. Now, some people are like, ooh, but Eric, isn't that pushy? Nah, if you were in the boat and they were in the water, right? And they were face down and you splashed them. Hey, Christopher, look forward to meeting you, right? They were in the water and you splashed them and you said, hey, Christopher, are you okay? And they didn't move. You wouldn't be like, I don't want to bother them. No, you'd jump in the water. You'd flip them over. You'd even start doing mouth to mouth. Douglas, nice job, Douglas. Look forward to talking to you, right? Right. And if Douglas came to and said, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you would be willing to offend in the name of service. Remember I said that at the top? Yeah, we want to get out of the people-pleasing business when it comes to hiring. And by the way, that's also not a super great trait to have in the working world in general, right? We want to put pleasing away and we want to serve more than we please, or we don't have to worry about pleasing at all. Okay, so some of you are like, but Eric, I would follow up. Right? I would follow up. Well, first of all, when you follow up, you're not going to want to say, hey, I just wanted to check in. I'm really interested because that's all about me. And some of you are like, but I follow up with the recruiter. That's a bad idea because they're professionally trained ninjas at keeping you away from the hiring manager. But because don't tell anybody if they go away, if you're talking to the hiring manager, the recruiters don't have a job and now they're the ones applying. How would that feel? Right? You're going to want to talk directly to the hiring manager. And some of you are like, but Eric, I don't have their contact information. I got your back, my friends. I got a free course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. If you're still on this call, I want to give it to you right now. Here's how you get the course. One, you're going to go to my LinkedIn. Jessa and Chris are going to drop this in the chat. Going to go to my LinkedIn. Thank you guys. You guys are doing great. You're going to friend me or follow me or whatever shows up. And then you're going to send me a message through LinkedIn with a single word. And that word, the password, is chicken. All right, guys. So you're going to go to my LinkedIn. You're going to follow me, friend me. You're going to send me a message with the single word chicken. And I will send you a link of how to get this, how to contact anybody. And then it won't be a problem to follow up ever again. How amazing would that be? Right? You're going to want to follow up from a place of service. All right, guys. Tactic number 7, I think we're at. We're in the home stretch here. You ever see the Academy Awards where somebody wins a big prize and they get up there and they accept the award and they get up there and then, they say, yeah, I got nobody to thank. Nah, it doesn't happen that way, right? She gets up there and she's like, I got to thank this person and this person and this person. And then they're trying to get her off stage. When we do great things, it's because people help us. And this brings us to the idea of networking. Some of you are real squeamish about asking others for help. My invitation to you is stop. Asking for help is a gift. Because we wouldn't ask somebody for help unless we thought their help was worth asking for. I don't know about you, but when people ask for my help and I'm able to help them, it feels fantastic. Matt T booked a call. Nice job, Matt T. It feels fantastic. So if you haven't been asking for help, if you're really squeamish about putting open to work on your LinkedIn resume, why are you being so stingy about letting people have the opportunity to help you and have that great feeling, right? And by the way, when you network, you're not going to want to do it as one-offs. Right? You're not going to be like, well, I posted on my LinkedIn 3 months ago. That's how and only some people in my network can help me. Just get rid of all of that, right? We want to focus on every human earthling and we want to let them know what's going on a regular basis. We want to filter the ocean, and And we want to have a system for doing that. This is one of the ways my clients get hired real damn fast. And you can too. All right, guys. Interviews. Here we go. Here's the single best interview advice in the world. Here it is. Please prepare yourself. I'm preparing myself to deliver the interview advice. Here it is. In an interview, don't answer their questions. What? Don't answer their questions because they're really only ever asking one question. And that question is this: can I trust you? Right? If we were in that Ricky Gervais movie, The Invention of Lying, that'd be easy, right? We just sit down and be like, hey, nice, thanks for the interview. Okay, can we trust you? Nah, you can't trust me at all. Okay, well, thanks. We're not going to be hiring you. Okay, that sounds great. I mean, it'd be so easy. But in the real world, people ask questions like, tell me about a time you took a risk, or tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. Tell me about yourself. And all they're really asking is, can I trust you? So rather than actually answer their questions, which they really don't care about those questions, what they're really asking is, can I trust you? You're going to want to tell stories and give answers that build trust. That's the opportunity. Now, look, folks, if it's like a technical interview, right? Hey, Vincent, nice to meet you. You booked a call. Look forward to meeting you, right? If it's like a technical interview and they want to know what 1 + 1 is, sure, tell them to. And even in those interviews, it's about building trust more than it is looking good or getting the right answer. You don't want to do any of that. All right, guys, final tactic. Here it is, offers. 2 important things I want you to realize when it comes to an offer. 1, when we're looking at jobs, we don't have to worry about 2 things. We don't have to worry about 1, whether we're qualified, or 2, we want the job. And here's why. They're going to have an opinion about whether we're qualified. We don't have to worry about it. And whether we think we are or aren't, it kind of doesn't matter. It's what they do. And 2, we don't have to worry if we want the job unless and until it's offered. Because unless and until that happens, it's just sort of a hypothetical thought exercise. Hey, Adwoa, nice to meet you. We look forward to talking to you. Right? So rather than spending a lot, I was just talking to a client just before this workshop, right? And she was like, oh, I was up until 2 a.m. I was like, what were you doing? She was like, oh, I was looking through job boards, wringing my hands over whether I was qualified for jobs and whether I want them. I'm like, that's beautiful. And that's exactly what you're not going to want to do, right? Instead, focus on job board, look for possibility. And when you get an offer, you're going to want to co-create a solution towards like maybe you being a part of helping them get what they want. This isn't you versus them. This is you and them versus the issue. Woo! Guys, I went a little fast there because I wanted to make sure we had time for questions. So write this down. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast. Now, a lot of you are like, wow, this is a little bit different from what I've heard before. Thank you for noticing. Some of you are even like, well, this contradicts that person that was trying to sell me an ATS optimized resume. This contradicts that organization that was telling me that I could use their network to find a job. Yeah, that doesn't work either because it's not your network. Don't invest in using somebody else's network that doesn't work. Why? Because it's not your network. That's why. So you're definitely not going to want to do that, right? What you're going to want to do instead is develop a system that gets you different results than the results you've been getting. Right? Again, this is not Googleable. This is not stuff that everybody else is talking about. My stuff is my own. It's the stuff that I find really helps clients. Hey, Nicole, really look forward to talking to you, Nicole. Nice job. Right? Some of you are like, look, some of you have been on the job search for a week. Great. Keep going. And for those of you who've been on the job search for like a month or 2 or 6, like my heart goes to you. And like the definition of insanity is continuing to do what you've been doing to get the same results you've been getting. And it's expensive, right? If this is the annual salary you're wanting to earn, right? This is how much it's costing you per month. This is how much it's costing you per week. Being on the job hunt is not free. It's expensive, right? And so, like I mentioned, I've got a program. It's amazing. It's called Get Hired Fast. Comes with a lot of one-on-one coaching, group coaching, comes with a online course that makes this just look like nothing, right? We're just scratching the surface here. It comes with an online community. You get direct access to me. I'm pretty damn good at this stuff. And we just get people hired fast. The guarantee we offer is we get people hired in 3 months or less, or we stay with them until they are hired. Again, and we work on everything from mindset to clarity to like your resume, your cover letter, your follow-up, your networking, your interviews. A lot of times people pay for this program. Okay. So it looks like maybe we've bottomed out, guys. So if there is no more availability, that's a great email address. Okay. Put it in there and say, hey, Eric, your schedule filled up. can I get on your schedule? And it could be somebody cancels or something, and I'll get you on there, right? If you write me and tell me a little bit about yourself, I will, I'll find time to talk to you. So that's the email, guys. Make sure you write that down. But we do everything, right? We do everything. Here are some of the people that we've helped, right? I mean, there's Jessie. She was a nonprofit executive. She got a bunch of offers. There's Robert. He came from overseas, wanted to make sure he wasn't looking for 3 months when he got here. He had a job on arrival. Wayne got a bunch of offers. John was the CEO. We got hooked up. Amy kept going to interviews and kept getting the no after 2 or 3 rounds. We got her squared away. Philip was an early professional. We got him like 2 job offers at once. You already heard from Angel. This program works. Like that's not even, I'm not even going to spend more time trying to explain how it works because it just freaking does. Right. I mentioned that people don't make data-driven decisions. For those of you who insist on data, here's some. The vast majority of people that sign up for this program get hired in 3 months or less, 4 at the outside. There's a few stragglers sometimes for whatever reason they sort of peter out in the program, but most people get hired 3-4 months. And again, the guarantee we offer is if you don't get hired in that time, we stay with you till you do. Guys, the last thing you're going to want to do is be on the hamster wheel and get the same results you've been getting. All right. So get hired fast. Some of you are like, oh gosh, how much is it? Like if you can do financing, it's really affordable. And by the way, if we go back to this slide, I'm going to go all the way back. Like, look how expensive being on the job hunt is. If we can get you hired, excuse me, a couple of weeks sooner, like you more than pay for this program. Right. So, we got payment plans available. What a lot of times people do is they get on a payment plan with us, like $350 a month, and then they pay off the balance once they've got the job. If people stay with this program, we guarantee, 100% of the people who join this program get hired. As long as you stay with it, we're not leaving you by the side of the road. So again, guys, if this is something you're interested in, we got a lot of receipts. Book a coaching call with me. I'm taking them personally this week. Usually, sometimes I hand them off to my team. This week, I'm taking them personally just because I wanted to. Only requirements for booking a call, if you haven't already, and a lot of you already have, is, you're not going to cancel on booking a call. You're at least open to the idea of investing in yourself. You want people to pay you money, be willing to spend a little money on yourself, and you're ready to get hired. And again, guys, it sounds like maybe my calendar's already full. So if you haven't booked a call and you want to, please email us at this email address and we'll get you squared away. All right, guys, that's all I got. Let's take some questions. I saw that we had a few, and and I'm going to show you the full girth of my gigantic head so you can get the full experience. What are some questions we have? I got about 10 minutes to take some questions. All right, let's see here, Henry. Does AI like stories? I don't care because I'm not worried about AI, Henry. I just I'm just not worried about it. I just think it's a waste of time. And I know that contradicts the conventional wisdom. And there's a lot of people out there spend a lot of money on ATS optimized resumes. And I don't believe it helps at all. Right? Because we can circumvent that whole process. By the way, I hope none of you guys are paying attention to rejection letters. Like those rejection notes you get, like, please ignore those, especially if they seem automated. The opportunity instead is to circumvent the HR apparatus, find a hiring manager or CEO, make them feel seen, heard, and understood. They will forward your stuff to HR, and all of a sudden you'll magically have an interview. My clients do this all the time. All the time. It works great. It works great. All right. What else? What other questions we got here, guys? Dumitru, I hope I'm pronouncing your name. Isn't an interview the process of selling yourself? Absolutely not. Dumitru, we've gone over this historically. Selling people's weird. Buying people is weirder. It's creepy. So this isn't about selling yourself. This isn't about pleasing people. People don't want to be sold. They want to be served. So if you've been, anybody on this workshop, if you've been spending a lot of time and energy selling yourself, how's that been working? I already know. My invitation to you is stop doing that. Take all the time and energy you might spend selling yourself and looking good and reinvest that into making that employer feel seen, heard, and understood, and watch the miracles that unfold. All right, let's see. What's the next question here? Latoya. Hi, Latoya. Does not having a degree create as big a disadvantage as it seems? It's interesting. As somebody that's got millions of degrees and letters after my name, I'm a big fan of higher education. And, increasingly employers are really looking for skills. I will say, Latoya, it's easier to get a job with a degree than without one. Those of you who are like, oh, you don't need a degree. Yeah, that's not my experience. And it's not a death knell. I mean, especially if you can show any sort of continuing education, investment in yourself. Not having a degree is not the end of the world, because what they're really asking is not whether you have the skills, experience, education. What they're really asking is, can I trust you? That's really what they're after. Hey, Adam. Adam booked a call. We must have a few spots left. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, kind of a long question from Alicia. Recently, I found employers want really specific backgrounds. I would disagree. They want somebody they can trust. Now, they may be using your background as a sign to decide whether they can trust you, but it's not your background, it's the trust. I would humbly suggest, Alicia, and I could be wrong. I'm a proposal manager, but they want a person who has extensive. See, what that's basically saying is we want somebody who has experience because we don't trust people that don't. That's what they're really saying. Right? It hasn't been an issue. So my invitation to you, Alicia, is focus on trust building, right? I run into a lot of job seekers who spend a lot of time and energy. Well, I need to go get a PMP or a degree. Nah, the opportunity is just to get better at building trust, and it's way easier and cheaper. That's what I would say to you, Alicia. It's not your background. It's that there could be an opportunity to build more trust. Hey, Jen, look forward to talking to you. Maybe my team opened up some more time. So that's great. All right. So that's what I would say there. Hope that serves you, Alicia. All right, let's see what other questions. Hey, Jennifer, can you share a strategy on slide number 4? But again, I didn't get to write it all down. So slide number 4, I can't remember which one that was, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Jennifer, book a call with us and I'll be happy to tell you about strategy number 4. How's that, Jennifer? And I think you already did book a call. So come to the call and we'll talk about it. Okay, what else we have? Sherry, how do you tell a story without an executive summary? It's pretty easy, Sherry. Supposedly in your resume, you tell your career history is going to tell a story, right? And the reason, if you've ever seen Star Wars, the opening line is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The reason we don't sit during all of Star Wars and wonder where the hell is this, right? Is because George Lucas tells us, right? Disney movie, Once Upon a Time in Neverland, Court of Law. Where were you on the night of at 6 p.m.? Context adds credibility, right? The problem with the executive summary, and the reason why it's not a good storytelling device, is there's no context. Skilled professional with 13 years experience. When, where? I got no context. It's like floating in outer space. So I would actually suggest that the story is much better told in the substance of your resume and in the describing of your experience, because there you've got time, you've got place. And especially if you make all that stuff about them, it makes it really powerful. All right, guys, I've got, hey, Jennifer, you booked a call. Look forward to talking to you, Jennifer. Look forward to talking to you. Good job. Okay, any other questions here? So Amber says, got referrals from internal employees and didn't even get an interview, just went inactive. Yeah, it sucks, right? It sucks. And so my question for you, Amber, was how is your follow-up, right? Because especially if we have a referral, we're going to want to follow up with the hiring manager. We can even follow up with somebody higher up the food chain. And, if we write it in a certain way, they're going to be like, oh, Jennifer, her star's on the rise. I don't know if they have that voice. I'm just making it up. But they will forward it on to HR, and HR will scramble to get you an interview because clearly you know somebody. You don't. You just send an email. That's how this works. All right. Let's see. I got time for a few more questions. Liz, thank you for asking about this. So what do you propose for ageism? So yeah, guys, there are isms out there. Racism, sexism, ageism, ableism. This is not a fair world. Job seeking in particular is not a fair process. And the reason they're going to hire you is they trust you. So the worst thing that you can do if you're worried about your age is to hide your graduation dates. It's such a tell. And I know this is the conventional, you want to hide your graduation, right? Guys, it's never the scandal. It's always the cover up. And what you're doing when you do that is you're applying and you're saying, hey, I want you to trust me and hire me and pay me a lot of money and have your organization depend on me, but I don't trust you so much so that I'm hiding my graduation dates. Do you see how much that destroys trust? And by the way, if you take off your graduation dates, now you are now 97 years old, right? Not that there's anything wrong with being 97, right? And you're basically saying, I don't trust you, right? Same thing with taking off everything but the last 15 years of experience. Why on earth would you do that? What possible good reason would there be for that other than, hiding our age on a resume is basically a lie. And they're going to know, they're going to see you at some point. So you might as well own your greatness. That's my theory. It works for a lot of my clients. I've had clients in their 70s get hired because they don't hide it. That's my invitation to you. All right, guys, let's see here. Let's see if hey, Daryl, good job, Daryl. If ATS is not important, then why do they require you to enter your resume and cover letter into their system? Well, they want to see your stuff, Ken. They want to hear from you. And a lot of times they have you upload it. So it's basically a filing. So ATS is basically a filing cabinet. And so it's easy for them to go through your stuff. Now, if you circumvent that process and you get your resume in the hands of a hiring manager, you can circumvent the filing cabinet. But yeah, I believe it or not, I was around long before ATS existed, and they still wanted resumes and cover letters. So resume and cover letter isn't about ATS. They got to go on something. So that's what they go on. And nowadays they just often accept that through a portal, but it's really just a way to organize the information more than anything else. Humans hire humans. All right, guys, I got time for maybe 2 more questions. Demetria, how important is it to have a cover letter? It's vital to have a cover letter. And the conventional wisdom is, oh, nobody reads cover letters. That's fantastic. Let's all those people not send cover letters. We will. And so it's a way to show the employer that we are somebody who does cover letters. And Robert, so glad you asked. A good cover letter, guess who a good cover letter is about? It's about them. One of my favorite things to do when I look at cover letters is count the number of I's and me's versus the number of you's. And very often there are no you's, or maybe there's one when they say thank you in the last sentence. Most often cover letters are about me, and they're a disaster. So when you do a cover letter, you're going to want to make it about them. It's one of the things that we talk about in our program. Robert, if you haven't already signed up, I hope we see you. I hear you about disability, Amber. Yeah, it's sort of like age, right? You're going to want to own it. One time I got a funny story. Again, I say this with great respect. One time I was working with a guy who was legally blind. I think he was fully blind. He wasn't just visually impaired. And we started off his cover letter, and then this violates them making it about them a little bit, but it worked. He wrote something, you guys care about this and this and this and this, and I could do that job with my eyes closed because I don't use them. He got like 3 interviews from that cover letter. It was amazing. He was blind. So, he had a sense of humor about it. Guys, I just want to acknowledge you for being here, right? It looks like I'm going to get the chance to meet a lot of you. If you haven't booked a call, or if for some reason my schedule is already full, we're going to throw up the email address. If you wanted to book a call and you couldn't find a time, I'm going to say it out loud just in case people are watching the replay and they haven't been able to see the chat. It's hello@woodardweb.com. Yeah, hello@woodardweb.com is the email address. You can find it on my website too. I just acknowledge you for being here, guys. I'm going to ask Chris and Jessa, guys, if when I say go, if you don't mind hitting the first one, show our friends here a couple of testimonials. I'm going to ask you guys to play 5 or 6 minutes of just some more people that have been part of this program. Thanks, Jessa and Chris, for your help. And if you've been here watching this workshop, I really acknowledge you. Thank you for being here. There are bright things on the horizon for you, my friends. You don't have to do this alone. If you're looking for help, wanting to do something different than you've been doing, we can get this handled. Really acknowledge you, my friends. Take care of yourselves.
Path, man. Keep on the path. All right. We're getting a bigger crowd now. It's so nice. Tell me who else has something to share. Yeah, Kay, talk to us.
So I went off camera a few minutes ago because I just got an offer from my dream job and my dream company. So real time, it happened just now. So on, thanks, Eric.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do because 2.5 years of doing the same thing, again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections, I was getting ghosted, but I would say put any predispositions away, go into it with an open mind, do the webinar, do the introductory call, and really just do it because it works.
Hi, I am Marcia Gomes. I am, I guess you could say, a recent graduate of Get Hired Fast because I did get hired and pretty fast. I am currently in my 2nd week at my new position after having gone through the Get Hired Fast Win at Work programming and methodology. And I don't think it's exaggeration and hyperbole to say that this program absolutely was the kicker in getting me to where I am right now. So very thankful, very learned a lot, and a lot of shifting in perspective. And I think that was super instrumental in kind of changing the way I approached my job search and my job hunt, and eventually getting to where I am and landing this really cool position that I'm in now. Yeah.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, Get Hired Fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 529 on an 811. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.
Eric Hampton, I see your face. What is happening with you?
I literally just executed my offer letter this morning, so I will be starting in 5 days. So
yes,
I literally started hammering the job search. I was self-employed, but really was going at it literally April of last year. I was sending out applications, and obviously my efforts and the strategies that I had that worked for me previously did not work for this market. So I really want to thank Eric and Diana and everybody else on the Power Hour that was willing to, listen and, crowdsource ideas for that. Cause it really, it started raining. It was kind of wild. Immediately kind of after changing some of my strategies, it ended up working out a lot quicker than if I would have done this a year ago.
It's all you, man.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search, or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I'd like to hear those stories from others, because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
Oh gosh, this is going back in my memory. I would say I was probably searching for 2.5, 3 months before I came across Win at Work. I saw Eric. I had probably sent 20 resumes, and I had 2 different sets of interviews and never got any further. All I kept hearing was, it is very competitive. It's so much different. And I just thought, you know what? Why am I doing this on my own? I need to find an expert to help me. I was in the midst of looking when I came across one of Eric's ads. It was an invitation to join a webinar. And so I did. He was great at building up and telling you what you needed to do and draw you in. I will say right off the gate, it was a completely different approach to job searching. Applying for jobs just isn't a fun thing. And it's easy to get burned out, and it's easy to start thinking negatively, and you just don't want to do it anymore. But you guys were always there, kept encouraging us to keep doing it. And so I did. So having that support to urge me to keep going was one. Number 2, the completely different format for the resume was amazing. It was like nothing that I had ever seen before. I have received a number of comments. I felt much more confident sending out that polished cover letter and that polished resume. How long does it typically take for someone in the Win at Work program to get a job? And he gave percentages, and I don't remember what they were, but X amount in the first 6 weeks. And then I think it was a larger percentage in the first 3 months. And I'm like, okay, that's what I need to aim for, is those first 3 months. And I wasn't too far. I may have been a week or two past that, but what he said was true. So that's exciting. And I feel like I got the best of everything I was looking for.